Sanibona, ngaphambi singene kwivideo namuhla, ngithi angithathe lethuba ngibonge i-support nothando enikhombise lona lingaphezu kokucabanga kwethu. Siyacela niqhubeke nisiphote njalo ngokubuka amavidiyo ethu, ungakhohlwa ukukhomenta, ushare, ulike. Siyafisa ukuzwa umbono wakho. Sicela ke singene kwivideo namuhla. Njengoba i-ad hoc committee ihlangene namuhla bane-meeting-ke la abahlela khona ukuthi iviki labo lizohamba kanjani, nanokuthi mapha ama-witness azobizwa, iziphi izinto efuneka bazilungise. Yakhumbula ukuthi ngeviki eliphelile isikhathi kukhona uGeneral Phahlane nesikhathi kukhona uGeneral Khumalo, kukhona izinto ezivukile wathola ukuthi ngeke bekwazi ukuthi bazikhulume lolu yasuku kukhona ne-witness phambi kwabo. Ngakho-ke bazoba ne-meeting namhlanje la bazohlela khona ukuthi bazosebenza kanjani. Baqinisekise nama-witness okufuneka afike kubo. Siyazi-ke ukuthi uPaul O'Sullivan uthena ufuna ukuvela virtually. Over the weekend sizwe unomvalo we-MK Party ethi uPaul O'Sullivan ubapha imigomo nemibandela, wathi yena umeza eParliament kukhona amaqembu ezepolitiki angeke aze awa-entertain. So ngifisa-ke sikhulume ngaleyo ndaba le, uzwe ukuthi kuthiwe neParliament makhulunywa ngodaba likaPaul O'Sullivan. Ya, ngifisa nje ukucaphunela ivideo uzwe. Ngiyacela ku-like le video, comment, ushare, ungakhohlwa ukusubscribe. Ngifisa ukucaphunela nje leyo ngxenye uzwe ukuthi kuthiweni, ngoba lento kaPaul O'Sullivan ukuthi eze phambi kwe-ad hoc kodwa eza nemigomo nemibandela evela kuye, u-undermine iParliament. Kahle kahle njalo undermine iParliament. Kodwa siza ukuthi wona ama-members of Parliament athini mayelana nalolu daba. Ngicela uzwe la.
Amongst yourselves, I'm going to take the two presentations for discussion, but just to say, maybe even before we go to discuss the report that the senior counsel has given about Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. Mr. Paul O'Sullivan is not only saying he is requesting to appear virtually. Mr. Paul O'Sullivan is insulting the Parliament of the Republic, calling it a criminal parliament, and has even made very, very serious allegations. He went on to cast aspersions on members of this parliament and members of this committee, accusing them of aiding criminal conspiracies to take his life. But he even goes on to call them criminals. And I don't think that it's something that we can take our attention off it. But he further says, even if I was coming to appear virtually before you, I will not recognize members of the MKP. I won't recognize members of the EFF. I won't recognize members of the Action SA. So I just felt that I must emphasize those points even before we go to discussions on the two items. What I will do, honorable members, let's discuss the items in this way. Let's deal with the timetable as proposed. Number one, when members speak, let's separate the issues. Speak on the timetable, and the timetable is inclusive. You can start by saying, on the timetable includes the reappearance of General Phahlane. It includes the proposed reappearance of General Mkhwanazi. Members can say, look, this is our view on the timetable up to the 6th of February. Number two, there is this proposal on civil society presentations, which does not clash with what has been presented on the timetable. The only issue may be the Monday of the 26th of February, which members normally use for traveling or for political party activities. They can express themselves on that. And then the third item will then be the item on the attitude of Okay, let me say the report that we get on Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. If we can discuss those matters in that way. Okay? Are we ready for rotation, honorable members? The ANC.
No, thank you very much, Chair. Good morning to you and good morning to all colleagues and everybody that has joined and following the discussion of the ad hoc committee. Chair, let me start with the timetable and the dates. The first thing that we would like to propose is that the Monday 26. We would like to suggest that we consider a different date as opposed to that Monday, the 26th, for the following reasons. That beside that is a constituents day. Mondays are like that, but also I know from the point of view of the African National Congress that we have a constituents work on that particular day, which might conclude around lunchtime. Now, if the day was meant to be used in its entirety, from morning to the afternoon, we might have a challenge. But if it is possible for the day to be used, let's say from around 1 until late, on our side, we can find a way to accommodate at least a few of our members to attend and participate. I'm saying that cognizant of the fact that usually we all travel to Cape Town on Monday evenings, but if there's no other way, I think we can find a way to compromise if the session is starting around 1 o'clock and it can finish whatever time late, and then we'll have to make our plans to take flights on Tuesday morning to rush for the Patlana reappearance, which is on the 27th on Tuesday. And of course, because we usually start at 11, it should not be difficult for us to take early flights to catch up with that hearing on Tuesday. That's the first point I want to make. But of course, it's subject to I'm looking at our own timetable, and I'm very much alive to the fact that all political parties have their own timetable through which they are going to discuss the matter. The second issue is that we support the 30th, that Friday 30th, which has been chosen. And I think we may need to appeal to all of us, approach that Friday differently, or this could be one of the Fridays we approach differently, because usually we use Fridays to travel. And I think that given the commitment we had made, that at some point we may have to even use a weekend or weekends, I think we should treat that Friday in that way, to try as much as possible that we stay the course, all of us, without rushing to flights, or at least the majority of us in the committee remain up until the end of business, so that we avoid a situation where at the time of the end of the proceedings, majority of us are no longer there. It doesn't augur well, it doesn't look good.
Yeah, that Friday is virtual, Chief Whip.
Oh, it's virtual. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's virtual.
Okay, no, thanks. The second proposal that we would like to put to the meeting, Chairperson. Now I'm looking at when we are listening to the JMPD Chief Julius Mkhwanazi, Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi. Colleagues, we maybe we are influenced by the fact that like some of the witnesses who have appeared before us, who have seen Mkhwanazi in action, when he was Julius Mkhwanazi in action, when he was with the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. We do want to make a proposal to this meeting, if it can be permissible, that rather than spending 2 full days on the man, why don't we make an undertaking to start with him on a Thursday, I think it's a Thursday, that 20th, if I'm not mistaken, Chair. But anyway, I'm just thinking that I think it's a Thursday. But to start with
Yes,
him,
you are right.
it's
It's a
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yes, why can't we start with Mkhwanazi on Thursday and maybe earlier, 9 o'clock, and we run with him until midnight in the same way that we once have done it. I think it was Minister Mkunu, or it was, but one of the generals, if not Minister Mkunu. We were able to take up until very late in that evening. If we, because I do suspect that it will not be difficult for us to achieve our objectives, having worked with him over one day. I don't think it will be like Pasane, where it's quite clear with Pasane that we needed more time so that we can process his submission. So we would like to propose that, if possible, let's consider having Mkhwanazi over one day, and we drag him until midnight. Now, in an event where we agree on that, Chair, the Friday 21st can also be made available as a possibility if the team can organize any of the sessions, including the one that is, for instance, is planned for Monday, to be done on Friday. I know that the difficulty may be that that's the day when colleagues and honorable members are traveling. But I'm just leave what we can do with that Friday. Maybe let me not go to what we do with that Friday, even if it remains without any active activity of the committee. But we want to propose that we take one day with Mr. Julius Mkhwanazi and run throughout with him until midnight. The rest of the other dates and the proposed people to engage with us, that sequence of civil servants, civil society, and all of those, well, we think that that should be fine, Chairperson. We can do with that. The last issue on the schedule, did you say we must comment on Mr. Paul O'Sullivan? Or should we speak on that later?
The committee has a decision on that he must be subpoenaed. But when you feel the attitude that he's expressing,
Okay.
I just felt that the committee must express itself on the attitude of the witness.
Okay. Maybe before I conclude with that one, Chair, then I see that we're seeing Mr. Brown Mokhotsi on the 29th and 30th, if the schedule I'm looking at is the one which is correct. But I also remember that on the 30th, there is something suggested other than Mr. Mokhotsi. Should I assume that the proposal is for us to see Mr. Mokhotsi for one day as opposed to 2 days? If that is the intention with regard to the earlier proposal, we also don't see any problem with that, as long as our attitude would be as we're proposing on Mr. Julius Mkhwanazi, that we start early and we drag them through right into the evening. I'm saying that because I think I saw somewhere where the 30th is proposed for a session of individuals or something. I can't remember what did I see on the 30th. But if the intention is that we have Mokhotsi for one day, we don't have a problem. But if it's me who's mistaken, Mokhotsi remains as 2 days, we also do not have an objection to that, as we will not mind even if we deal with Mokhotsi over one day. We're flexible on that as the African National Congress. Lastly, and not least, Chair, is the issue of Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. When I read the emails that he wrote to Parliament and telling us that he doesn't want to be engaged with the EFF, he doesn't want to be engaged with Action SA and the MK Party, it was quite clear that we are dealing with an individual who's treating Parliament with serious contempt. And we don't believe that as the African National Congress, we should allow a private citizen to undermine the Parliament of the Republic to that extent. And we are very convinced that the position we adopted earlier on as a committee shall be sustained, which is that the man has to be called physically before the ad hoc committee to explain his role in the security environment of the South African Police Service. And we will not accept any excuse, as he has said it in those emails, about his security and that we want to organize him to be murdered and all that nonsense he's talking about. So we are very clear that the committee position on the matter must be sustained and the man must be invited to appear before the committee. And Chair, we would like to, I want to leave this maybe for us to exercise our minds about. I know that our term of office is ending on the 20th of February, and I do hope that we are going to meet that deadline. I think it's important that we meet that deadline. But in a situation where we get into that point, and Mr. Paul O'Sullivan is not back overseas, as he claimed to be away, 10,000 kilometers away from the Republic of South Africa, I think we will have to decide and go to Parliament to say to Parliament, here is the report of our work. We believe that report is going to be helpful for portfolio committees and Parliament itself to discharge its responsibilities on the matters we are required to investigate. But we may need to ask Parliament to allow us to make a supplemental submission later on when we have succeeded to have Mr. Paul O'Sullivan appearing before us. It's important that it does. He has been a central player, and from what we have heard, being very negative in the work of the South African Police Service. And I think it would be a traverse of justice if we do not succeed to have him before us, whether we have him tomorrow or we have him at any time, even after the deadline of Parliament. It's a matter that I think Parliament will have to discuss and agree that yes, your term has ended, we need the report, here is the report, but we can't agree that somebody like that, somebody can undermine Parliament to the extent that the man has done. Thanks, Chair. I hope I've covered all the issues that we were supposed to comment on, and my apology for being longer. If any of my colleagues would like to make an addition, they will indicate through you. Thanks.
If you can just clarify the last point for everyone to understand you properly, you are suggesting that in the event, once we embark on the process to subpoena the witness and the time runs out, we should be able to advise Parliament to say we may need some time to deal with the appearance of this witness until, and then once we have done that, we can come back to Parliament to report. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Chair, that's correct. That's my firm proposal, that we should not allow a situation where we are unable to conclude and submit our report before or by the 20th of February. But I think we will have to make a firm proposal to Parliament and give the evidence as it appears before us now that we still would like to get an opportunity at the time at which the legal processes will be concluded for us to win over that the man must come before us. We should be allowed that opportunity. So that's my firm proposal. But I think we should not allow him to let us play through his own game where our committee's work is extended endlessly. I think let's have our time frame as it is and not interrupted by his conduct. But as soon as we win the battle against him, Parliament should allow us to deal with the matter relating to him. Thanks.
Okay, thank you so much. If any further speaker from the ANC.
Sir, the application by Paul O'Sullivan to appear virtually is declined with immediate effect. Thank you.
Honorable Ngola.
I'm saying the application by Mr. Paul O'Sullivan to appear virtually is declined with immediate effect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's move to the MKP.
Thank you very much, Chair, and greetings to members of the committee and everyone who's part of this meeting. I think, Chair, let's start by engaging the proposition that has been made by the Chief Whip with regards to the testimony of Julius Mkhwanazi on Thursday. Our view on this one, Chair, is that it will depend on the volume of the statement that will be returned by the witness, or because I think the testimony of General Pahlana is a good event to make a reference on. We anticipated 1 day, and then we realized that he had later, after making a determination of a time frame, we then realized that it was impossible to conclude both his testimony and the interviews within the agreed time frame. So if maybe the legal team can guide us, if they already have the statement, but I think they said they are still going to consult with the witness. So if the witness does allow the committee to deal, and without any rush, to deal with the testimony, which will be inclusive of the evidence, leader's time and our time for questions, then we will agree. We won't have a problem, but we must not unreasonable rush things because we want to complete our program within the twinkle of an eye. But if the statement is big, then we must allow 2 days, because we don't want the witness that will come here to this committee and later raise a complaint that they were not afforded enough time to adduce their evidence and to express whatever concerns and information they have in relation to our terms of reference. So that is our position on that proposition. Then also, Chair, on the list that have been proposed here, before we even go to dates, time frames, and so on, I think Honorable Shongwe, in a form of a question, has raised a concern indirectly that we have, that there is a list that we once agreed upon as this committee, which had various categories. So where is that list? Where is that list now? Maybe I missed the meeting which said and reviewed the list and ultimately agreed on the list that has been presented to us now. It's difficult for us at this stage to take a conclusive position on the issue of the list that has been proposed to be the outstanding names that should appear before this committee. Reason being is that I think part of this agenda there is an item which talks about a report about the NPA and so on. There are prosecutors who were implicated by some of the witnesses who have appeared before this committee. And Batoyi alone is not adequate to give us direction in that regard. For instance, there is a prosecutor who was adversely implicated, I think, if my memory serves me well, by Nkabinde, who said that he unfairly withdrew charges against Paul O'Sullivan. And for us to probe that further, it doesn't need an external resource. Notwithstanding that we support a call made by the EFF for an external resource, but that aspect alone doesn't need an external resource. We can, using our own resources at our disposal at the moment, probe it further by asking for a docket, checking who was the prosecutor, and see if really it will be necessary for us to call that prosecutor to come and appear before this committee. So I'm saying, Chair, we are really, our great concern is that the focus has solely been on the SAPS, We have overlooked the NPA. We have overlooked calling Batoyi, and Batoyi, for that matter, didn't help us with anything. Was not enough, because Batoyi was an evasive witness. He was denying everything. He was, pleading ignorance to everything. So there is nothing that Batoyi helped us with. So there is a need to take matters deeper, and I think we have missed that opportunity, and we continue to miss that opportunity as this committee. With regards to Paul O'Sullivan, well, I think, Chair, or before I go to Paul O'Sullivan, Chair, I think also the senior counsel, it doesn't appear well and professional when members of this committee, or when we as members of this committee are having confrontations with the senior counsel. But sometimes it is inevitable, especially when members feel that they need to help the process. But I think it can be avoided, Chair. What happened last time with regards to us arguing about what can be probed and what can be said by the witness that appeared before us, and what cannot be said, I think it was General Pahlani, could have been avoided if the consultation between the senior counsel or our legal team and our witness was effective and accurate. In this sense, Chair, our understanding is that the part of what must be done by the senior counsel during consultations is to guide witnesses on the relevant content that can be accommodated in the statements, and the guiding factors around that are the terms of reference. Is the terms of reference. So we don't understand when a witness comes to a committee with 168 pages statement, and the majority of its content is absolutely peripheral. And then members will be triggered to intervene during the course of testimony upon realizing that some of the evidence is irrelevant. And unfortunately, you can't intervene at that time because already the statement has been written, already the witness has taken oath. So, and already members have read the statement, because once you put something on the statement and for us to read before we interview the witness, we're going to interrogate the witness based on what he has written on the statement, because it's part of the statement. You can't overlook things which, whether relevant or irrelevant, but the fact of the matter is that it is now part of the statement and it has been signed under oath. So if our legal team can maybe improve in that regard, Chair, we will be very happy. And it can maybe address the request that, or the proposal that the ANC has made through its chief whip, to have Julius Mkhwanazi for 1 day on Thursday. Because if they stick on the terms of reference and not expand the statement beyond necessary, I think we're not going to have a very long statement which contains irrelevant information. So, Chair, we are saying our final position is that it's really difficult to make a conclusive position or determination, especially with regards to names that are yet to appear, considering the fact that we are still waiting for the report, for an update on the report of the NPA that will be given here, because we believe that these names are not enough. And also, the committee must, at the back of its mind, bear a possibility that the witnesses that will appear, the witnesses that are now on the list here, and public submissions might trigger an invitation of other people who have not been called before this committee as yet. And if such happens, then a room for such must be opened. So I'm saying that's a possibility, Chair, that we must brace ourselves for. That when witnesses come here and adversely implicate some of the names, then we might have to consider reviewing this list, and we might consider doing other invitations for other people to come and appear. For now, that is our submission, Chair. Thank you.
You have forgotten the point on O'Sullivan.
Oh, yes. No. On Paul O'Sullivan, Chair, our position is very clear. We can't be the ones who assist Paul O'Sullivan in undermining the authority of Parliament. So we must use every available mechanism to bring him physically to the committee. We can't be found wanting. The legal team must assist us with all the available legal mechanisms that can be used. And it must happen within the twinkling of an eye. We can't delay any further, Chair, because already he has shown a sign of refusal. So our legal team must attend to it expeditiously. Thank you.
And then, given the points that you have raised here, but because you say that we may not speak conclusively on the timetable, but the proposals that are being made here, do you note them and accept them?
We note the proposal, Chair, and we reserve our right to accept at this stage, Chair. We are waiting at least for the report.
I understand what you are saying, that, but for instance, there is a proposal on the appearance of this week.
Yes.
That we must have McBride coming, we must have Julius Mkhwanazi coming.
Who are supporting
And there is also a proposal on the date that Phahlane must come back and General Mkhwanazi must come back.
Who are supporting those, Chair.
Yeah, but you have issues to say.
Yes.
Let's work and finalize the list of witnesses. But in the meantime, the report that comes here on those proposals, we accept it.
Correct. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Can I check if we still have anybody from the MKP who wants to speak?
Thank you, Chair.
The honorable member can
Thank you,
go ahead. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yeah,
Honorable
indeed.
Honorable
Yes.
Nkosana, just listen. I earlier indicated that I'll be driving to the airport. So in case there are members who want to speak, when your party speaks, once the first speaker from your party is done, you can just indicate, Chair, my hand is also up. And
Thank
then
you.
will be, now is your time, Honorable Nkosana.
Thank you, Chair. And good morning to my colleagues. I think the Honorable Nomvalo has already said it all we thought from the MK party we will make a contribution. But I want to add, and the Chief Whip as well has said mouthfully, we support in terms of what O'Sullivan wants. We should never agree on what O'Sullivan wants us to do. You know, I think we have Interpol, we've got laws in this country which we can make sure that he appears before us, even if it's after. But we need to have also O'Sullivan. Otherwise, it will undermine, you know, this committee. But I just wanted to say this, Chair, to say that the issue of the list, we need to add the list. Remember, we have, like the Honorable Nomvalo has already said, yeah, that it should not be only about police. We have prosecutors. I've made names, like Honorable Shongwe said earlier as well. Tyler Shabalala is one of those ones, the prosecutor. And I think the names of the judge, I'll give names as well. Unfortunately, one judge has passed on, I'm told, but there are those ones who are still alive. We are not ashamed of doing that, because this committee was set based on that. That is a joint committee of justice and police. So we will definitely make an addition in terms of the list. I guess that we reserve that for now, because we think that we gave names as well, and I think we should have the judiciary appearing before us in the name of the judges and prosecutors. I thank you, Chair.
Yeah, that item is the last item on the agenda, Honorable Skosana. Remember the last time you requested that we must give you an opportunity to present today. We are going
Yes.
to ask for that opportunity. Is there? The
Thank you.
item is there.
Thank you, Chair.
Yeah. Honorable Shongwe, anything? Okay, we are going to move to the Democratic Alliance.
Morning, Chair. Thank you, and good morning to everybody. Yeah, we have no difficulties with any of the issues raised. I have a difficulty with the 6th of February as a date. I have a personal engagement that I can't get out of, but that doesn't matter. Everyone else will be present. We agree with the general discussion, Chair, of all the points raised. I'm not going to go through them all and repeat what everyone has said. Apart from O'Sullivan, Chair, I have no difficulty with the members wanting him here in person, and I don't object to it, and I don't wish to say anything about it. All I'm saying, we need to be a little bit careful. If we force him to come and he does get assassinated, we will have to deal with that fallout. But I have no objection to members wanting him to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are you the only speaker from the DA, Honorable Breitenbach?
Yes, Chair, the DI speaks with one voice.
The DA speaks with one voice. Thank you so much for using the time frugally. May we proceed to the economic freedom fighters?
Yes, thank you, Chair. In terms of the program, the dates that have been presented, we are in agreement with it, and we're also not opposed to what Honourable Ntuli recommended on or made proposals in terms of the actual program. What we vehemently opposed to, Chair, is this thing of having virtual, having our witnesses virtually, both the public submissions and the civil society. We were very, very clear when we started this that we do not want virtual meetings. Now, I understand that we are at the last leg of this committee, and perhaps we're tired of always getting to Cape Town and staying in there late. But as members of Parliament, this is a very important ad hoc committee. The entire country is watching us, and we need to make sure that the work that we produce is the best work we possibly can. And doing it virtually is not it. We know, even now in these meetings, people are cutting out. We can't produce that quality of work, not for these hearings that we are doing. So we really oppose, and we really want to press on all members of the committee that all our hearings of any submissions must be done, and it must be done physically. Chair, on the issue of Paul O'Sullivan, obviously he must be summoned. And the process must start immediately, and we not wait until lastminute.com. We reserve our right on whether... And maybe we just need to be spoken to or explain how the supplementary report will work. If we conclude and then we do a supplementary report. I mean, it was quite interesting that in his letter he says he's had planned a holiday even before the committee had started, and he didn't indicate that in the beginning when we first engaged him. And then coincidentally, he's only available, or his holiday ends after when we are due to submit our report. So I find that very interesting. But outside of that, Chair, we submit a report and then we do a supplementary report. It's like the entire initial report will change. I mean, as has been pointed out, that he's come up pretty much. I don't even know how many witnesses have not mentioned his name. So I think his testimony is going to be impactful on the actual our final report anyway. So I don't know how the supplementary report will work, and we're not opposed to it, but we would just need clarity on how that will work. And the danger is also that he ends up being left off the hook. So we say we're going to do a supplementary report, then we are given the runaround also by Parliament, and we never ever sit. And it's not something that hasn't happened before. So those are also things that we are very conscious about. With the witness list, we also raised this in our last administrative meeting, that we need to have some level of flexibility, because as we hear in testimony, we are definitely there's going to be those one or two people that we might need to come and appear. So I don't want us that we conclude and that it's just final. Then on the public submissions, I see that there was a presentation that we must allocate 40 minutes. It's gone up from the 15 minutes. We're not opposed to that also. But Chair, I think we must not be too stringent on time, because there might be just some information that is very important. We can't cut witnesses off just mid-sentence because the time has expired. And so let's also just keep that in mind, that we keep that. But as members of the committee, also in our engagement, we must just be cognitive, because sometimes I do think we ask questions that might not necessarily be speaks directly to our terms of reference or is going to assist us. I think I've answered everything, Chair. I've covered everything that we need to cover. You will guide me if there's something that's missing or that the EFF hasn't addressed.
Yeah. I want to check the proposals that are being made on the appearances of this week. You agree?
Yes, definitely. Oh, I did leave one thing out. We have scheduled Lieutenant General Nkonazi for the 5th of February, and then we have public submissions after that. I think the date for him must be literally, he should be our last reappearance of a witness. So scheduling him, and then we have witnesses after that. I don't think it's a sound decision, because there might be something that comes up through the submissions of witnesses, and then that he might need to respond to. So that was the other proposal, that we might not even schedule him at the moment, and see when we get closer to finalizing our witness list.
Okay. And then you are also speaking very strongly against virtual hearings.
Yes, Chair, I think we are just, I understand where members are coming from, but I think we're deteriorating the quality of work we are doing as an ad hoc committee by doing virtual, taking witnesses virtually. And given the fact that when we started and when we were engaging on the format of this, we were very clear that we are not taking any witnesses virtually. And now we as members of the committee are even proposing that we bring the public and civil society in virtually. It's wrong.
Okay. I think the meeting hears your concern. We will come back to that one and rotate it and hear what is the take of the meeting on virtual appearance of civil society and the public submissions. Is that all you wanted to say, Honorable Marquez?
Yes, Chair, and the EFF
If
is.
you will speak on the Paul O'Sullivan matter.
Oh, yes, we're very clear about that. He must be summoned, and the summons process must start immediately. I don't think we need to be continuously engaging him and inviting him. He must be summoned. We must move into that process. He has started with the committee even during when we had witnesses before us, and we've tolerated his nonsense for way too long. As an ad hoc committee, as Parliament, enough is enough. He must be summoned.
Okay. Can we move to the Ingata Freedom Party?
Chair, you might have not seen it on the WhatsApp group. Honorable Mngango has reported that he's in the party commitment until 12 o'clock.
Okay, thank you so much for that reminder. The Patriotic Alliance,
Well, thank you, Chair.
Honorable Salt.
Thank you, Chair. Can you hear me?
I hear you very loud and clearly.
Thank you, Chair. And greetings to the members. On the week's program, we agree with the proposal, including the one of the 1 day for General Julius Kwanaze. I'm not sure if his rank is general, but the chief, Deputy Chief Julius Mkwanaze, we agree with the 1 day. With regard to Paul O'Sullivan, I think it's very important that we speak as one on this issue, and I think we've done so thus far. And Mr. O'Sullivan must understand that when he speaks of one of us, he speaks of all of us. There's no separation. And this strategy to nullify the legal weight of our proceedings by making it look like there are sides rather than a non-partisan approach of all of us seeking to find the truth. We must squash that immediately, because that perception is very dangerous, to make it look like that there are some favorable to a particular narrative and others not. We must always maintain the disposition that we are all seeking to find the truth without having chosen a side. So we stand with the position that Mr. O'Sullivan must appear before us physically, and then we must not be emotional or appear to be emotional. We must always be impartial. So as a matter of procedure and principle is the reason why we want O'Sullivan to come physically, because in our terms of reference, that has been the default or standard, except for exceptional circumstances. And that the definition of exceptional circumstances is subjective, and we have the right to interpret that, not the witness. So it is not because it is Paul O'Sullivan, it is because procedurally and as a matter of principle, we want our witnesses to come, the witnesses to come physically. And if that is our position, then we must not appear to be emotional then. We must then remain impartial and then emphasize the same approach for everyone. Therefore, we agree with the position that the public submission should therefore then also, as a priority, be physical and not virtual, because that's a matter of procedure and principle in terms of our terms of reference. Otherwise, if we say no, submissions can be virtually, then we are coming across as we are now just as an issue of ego and trying to show or throw around weight. We want O'Sullivan to come physically, but that's not what we're doing. So let's show that's not what we're doing. By having public submissions must be physical, Paul O'Sullivan must be physical, because it is a matter of procedure and principle of the committee. And then I definitely agree with the fact that the public submission can't be after General Mkwanaze. General Mkwanaze should be the last witness. We would also like to propose that after the last witness, before General Mkwanaze, that there is at least 1 or 2 days in between before the last appearance, so that we can consolidate all the submissions that we've heard, and then of course come on the last day and conclude with General Mkwanaze based on everything that we've heard for the past few months. That is a proposal. And then the last proposal on that is also that on that last appearance of the main witness, the primary witness, General Mkhwanazi, Chair, that we please then also revert back to the model of cross-examination that we had at the beginning, where we receive an allocated time, but the responses of the witness does not eat into the time allocated to the member who is questioning. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable Salt. Honorable James.
Good morning, Chair. I'm not going to belabor this matter. As Action SA, we support the proposal by the Chief Whip for the upcoming week. And also to only have 1 day for the JMPD officer, Chief Mkhwanazi. We can do him in 1 day and maybe just start earlier. On Mr. Paul O'Sullivan, I think this committee has been clear for a very long time. And I'm actually just taken aback at the fact that by now we haven't started the process to subpoena him to Parliament. I think that should have been something we should have done and started a long time ago, because we had already agreed it's not the first time that we are addressing this matter.
Njobuzwa kama-members of parliament wonke phandle kwe-DA. I-DA iyona nje ethi funeka bayicabangisise le ndaba ukuthi uPaul O'Sullivan azovela laphaya physical what if uyabulawa njengokusho kwakho ukuthi usaba ukuthi khona bazombulala. Yazi iparliament ngicathi yona ndawo esafe ukwedlula zonke indawo ngoba ngisho upresident akekho umuntu ogada njengepresident engimaziyo. Kodwa uma iseparliament usuke engagadiwe. Secret Service lamba nayo isuke ingekho yonke ngoba iparliament yona ndawo esafe. Mhlambe sebengasho ukuthi bangenze njani ke ngaphandle uma ephuma ukuze kuqinisekiswe isafety yakhe. Kodwa nje le excuse ezanayo akufanelanga bayemukele. Paul O'Sullivan ukhuluma into eziningi kakhulu, kufanele uphendula phambi kweParliament. Akakwazi ukuthi angakhuluma into eziningi kangaka bese kugcineni mase sekufuneka ayo accounta ayosho ukuthi wayithini. Ukhuluma into eziningi kakhulu kabe yabona nje mongabuka ama video akadlule fanele uziphendulela. And kunama allegations ngaye funeka ayowaphendula. Asibambe le video bengithi angiku-update nje ukuthi kwenzakalani lapha eParliament. Ngalokho mina nawe sidibane kwi video elandelayo ngiyabonga.